Good afternoon. Welcome to Options Center. This is a members video. We're going to look at Square. Today is Sunday, September 15th, 2024. I had to look. So we're taking a look at a long setup on Square. This does look like Square has lower to go in the long run. Whether you're a bull or bear, it doesn't really matter at this point. They're both looking to the upside. So I'm going to take you through multiple time frames and look for this nice 1-2 setup on a couple different time frames. Okay, so this with the market being near the end and Bitcoin, which Square seems to have a tendency to follow, to accelerate with, looks like Bitcoin's going to bounce, and I'll do a video on Bitcoin either later or tomorrow. And so with that said, I think Square could actually accelerate, take off. End of the market will squeeze a lot of these smaller stocks. And what we're looking for is, I'm going to call it a back test of this trend line that was broken down from. And like I said, if you're a bull or bear, you could have a 5-wave move up. It's very optimistic at this point, when I think we're going to go into a recession very soon. So you have this 123 zone where the 50-month moving average is. You have this uptrend line that I think will back test, and it doesn't mean we go to touch it way up here. I just mean that after breaking down, back test and then further down. This possibly, to me, could be a simple zigzag 5-wave move down, which would say that's an impulse. It's bearish. An A, B, C, and then a 5-wave move down. That could be an ending diagonal or an impulse wave, depending on how the market does. Okay, so with that said, we're going to do some measured moves as well. Let's go down to the weekly. On the weekly time frame, and then on the daily, we'll take a look at the Elliott wave and do some of the work for where the targets might be and whatnot. So looking at a traditional technical analysis, we were at the point of control on the monthly time frame, and now on the weekly time frame, we're right at that point of control as well. You just see there's tons of trading here. So tons of trading. If we can get back over this 65 area, break out from this bullish falling wedge, I think Square is going to be a massive move. Okay, and so I'm going to put up I think on the daily time frame, yeah, we'll do the measure move off there. But the weekly, you'll just see what's happening here. And again, the 123 to, we'll call it about the 125 area, just to be more of a round number. That's the 200 moving average on the weekly. So, getting above here, breaking out from this falling wedge, this thing could tear. Very similar to its initial move to the upside, that V recovery there. So big move down, big move up, consolidation, bull setup, rip to the upside. Let's move to the daily. On the daily time frame, this is what I want to show you. It looks like an inverse head and shoulder. Okay. Also, you could do the range play as well. We'll do the measured move for both of them. Okay, so on a measured move for the rectangle, you just take highs to lows, and it's approximate. Let's do our turquoise setting and some arrows, and then we'll duplicate it. So we take this and you put that, that's the width of the channel, and you put it on to the breakout point. Come on. That's beautiful. Beautiful to that 125. You can even call it 130 if you're going with the resistance area here. But why play around with that little bit of range there? Get to that 120, 125, we'll call it, right in between. Measured move. Beautiful breakout if Square wants to do so. Okay, so even a larger move, and I won't be playing this all the way through there, is if you go the inverse head and shoulders. So you take the neckline, And it could be, you could argue that the neckline's down here, up here, to the lowest point where the head is, and do the same thing, the breakout zone. Okay, so it doesn't give you a whole lot more in the shorter time frame. That is a big move, but just know that that's very similar there. That's our measured move. And then we'll take a look at the Elliott wave analysis, and that's our let's go to the daily. So on the daily time frame, just a good look here. That would be the wedge. Since we made a new low, we can move that trend line here, and that's why that made it valid to short. Whoops. Oh boy. Sorry about that. That's why it made it valid to short here. And then that coincides with these points here, rejection, rejection. And now we can kind of draw a triangle where we're at an equilibrium. So if we break down from this low here, we know that we're going lower. We break out from this point, and it will be an excellent equilibrium breakout here from this triangle. Okay, you see the moving averages getting all tight there. They're all coming together. That's a sign that a big move is coming. Okay, so even on the daily time frame, we're at the point of control. It's just a lot of energy built up here. Let's go to the Elliott wave and work out some analysis. Okay, so I think we have the top in here. We have the retracements from top to bottom. And now what we're looking for is an A in the yellow, a B, and a C. Okay, and that brings us right into the 382 from the all-time highs, that full range. And that also just happens to be the 1, 2, or AB, doesn't matter, setup, where wave C is going to be at the 162. So you can hold it to the 130, a little bit above if you want to. I won't hold it that long, but we should see a nice ripping move up there. Okay, so we have a few positions in square. That would be our end target there at 133. So should you hold it that long? That's the 162. That's very typical of an ABC. Now, if you want to be a lot more conservative, let's highlight that extension again. And let's put up the 100%. So where A equals C, will be at the 103. So if you want to be real conservative on this play, and that's a big move in itself, you can hold on to a large position into 103. Okay, that's very conservative. And then you have your next move. You get over the 100%, hold on to this gap above, whatever it does. Then you can even have short-term plays above 103 and put your back on the 103 area as a stop loss. Okay, so now you see the targets. Now here's the setup. I'll clean this up in a second, but look at the bigger picture here. From this first initial move, you have the retracement from this entire move right into the 62% retracement. Okay, that's an A, B, C into that 62% retracement. That's a 1-2 setup for that larger picture that we're talking about. And now on even a lower time frame, I can go to the 65, but I'm going to keep it on here. You have the move, and this to me looked like an expanding flat. So I actually have this being the top here. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't change a whole lot, especially on the daily time frame. So you have this entire move and the retracement into the 62. Let's expand this so you can see everything. And we'll get rid of some of these retracements. Boom. Past the 50 down to the 62. Okay, so all this other stuff can be ignored. Extensions. I'm not going to waste your time. We have this move back to the 62. So now we have a 1-2 setup. and I'm looking for this bad boy to, it might get a slight consolidation here for a day or two going into FOMC. But after that, I do suspect the market is going to get a lift off, and then it's going to grind for however many several days. And while that is grinding, and IWM possibly taking off, I think Bitcoin's going to bounce. I think Square is going to lift off, just rocket when it breaks out of this formation and start just massively moving throughout the days. Probably even more of a rip than this. These are, after you get your move here, you have these each day kind of moves a little bit. I think it's going to be a little bit more impulsive. So just to get to that 103, it's got a lot of room to move. So I think this is a highly probable, massive potential play that could come really, really soon here. So just wanted to get this video out. Thanks for joining us here at Options Center. We'll see you in the next video.